some point.
Oh, the rubber guard.
I'm going to go out on a limb and believe that Christian Collins has a probable wrestling background. Collar tie. Collins attempted a little back trip. Arm drag attempt from Hightree.
Working the hand. And we got collar tie. Hightree going from that Muay Thai clinch to an overhook. And the trip.
Trip by Collins into the guard of Hightree.
See if we start seeing
Let's
some
see how we work from here.
more of a K guard here.
Collins takes his leg back intelligently.
Collins keeping that forward pressure, definitely seeing that wrestling style here.
Yep. Sticking Hightree in the dead spot of the cage there. It's a lot easier to work when your opponent has a wall up against their head.
Hightree's able to pivot off the cage there, which gives him some better angles. Armbar attempt.
Armbar.
And a slam.
Collins said no thank you.
Not today.
Oh, double leg. Double leg attempt.
Good wizard defense there.
Stymied by Collins. Back inside the great guard of Hightree. Collins is going to want to pressure up, get his posture back, and not allow the
Back to
rubber
that high
guard.
guard.
Yeah.
And an inversion.
You want to start taking that spinny.
Going for the knee bar, it looks like. Collins uses that to come up in half guard. Let me see the traditional 10th planet lockdown here.
Yep. Collins staying low on the hips, not getting himself in danger.
Hightree working back to that full guard.
Yeah. As a top pressure grappler, when you feel these 10th planet guys, these rubber guard guys, or these high guard guys open that guard up, you want to start controlling their legs and hips, pinning them to the ground so you can move. Because if you get into a speed battle with these guys, you're going to end up in a real precarious situation. Just like
Armbar
that
attempt again,
from Collins.
and another slam.
Slam out of the armbar. Guard pull from Hightree. We have two submission attempts from Hightree.
Both very similar setups. He's
Some
really going for that armbar.
Decent work from Collins, but in a submission-only match, the referee's going to see those submission attempts as being dominant at this point, I would assume.
Ooh.
Luckily, I'm not the referee. But with Collins, you're going to want to see a guard pass. I want to see him control those legs, pin the knees to the ground, and maybe move to one side or the other so he can get into a side control or a position where the flexibility component is taken away from Hightree.
He's maintaining that top position, but the offense isn't quite there.
Yeah, sometimes being on top, which, I mean, I'm a top pressure guy. I love to play from the top. But if the bottom guy's controlling the tempo in the action, it really takes away from your game.
And we have quite the position here.
Hightree
Seeing
is
that flexibility.
inverted.
You can see he does his stretches.
This is a much better spot for Collins. I would assume Hightree is going to buck and then try to kick those ankles over the top and start to pull through, or just grab a leg. I think Collins has... Oh, it's just the neck. I thought we had a little bit of an arm triangle there. If he switches his grip...
He does have the arm across in there.
If he can push that arm across underneath the chin and get some top pressure on it, he's in a really good spot there. Otherwise, he's going to want to switch that grip and gather one of the arms for the arm triangle and take some of the energy away from Hightree. If he's not going to work on that, he's got to maintain control. There's an Americana work right there. Nice
and
Americana
Hightree
grip.
starts
Hightree
to
straightens
defend
that, arm.
rolls to the side, gets out of it.
I like the spot that Collins is in here a lot better than where he's worked from previously in the match.
He's keeping constant pressure on the head as well.
And on the hips. Taking the hips away from a speed player.
Now we
It's
see
always
armbar
good. We got
attempt
an
from
armbar
Collins.
attempt there.
Bicep slicer.
See if he can break that grip.
And there is
Time!
Saved by the bell.
Collins ended that match very strong with some attempts, which is going to weigh in the referee's mind if we don't see something in the overtime.
Sometimes those last submission attempts might give you a little bit of an edge than the earlier ones.
There's a lot of conversation going on here. Right now, referee is deciding who is going to start the overtime where.
Looks like Collins is going to start on the back.
So in overtime, the way things are done is each person will take the other's back. They have 1 minute to submit. If one person submits, the other person has to submit in the second half of overtime faster. It's the easiest way I could explain that. Again, the action in overtime has no bearing. If there is not a submission, the referee will make their decision based on the original match.
Only during regulation.
Correct. Collins has made his way to three-quarter mount, which...
Still bugging that head and neck.
Yep, still working there. Lost the back, but still in a dominant spot working on some stuff. Hightree very intelligently grabbed that ankle and is holding on to one leg.
Still working to his regard. And just because you start on bottom doesn't mean you can't submit.
No, you can submit from the bottom and then puts your opponent in a real tough spot starting on the bottom of the second half.
We're seeing Hightree work from that guard as he has for most of the match.
Or high guard work from that tree. All right, they will now switch positions. They will now switch positions. And again, the only thing we're looking for is a submission. If we have no submission in this last minute, the referee will make the decision on who won the original match.
Looks like Hightree is on the neck here.
Yeah, he's got the back and he's holding on to the neck. And I see some...
And there's the tap.
There is the tap. Hightree maintained that back control. Took advantage, got that arm under the chin.
I'm sure Hightree's relieved on that one because that would be hard to say how
Yeah.
the judges would have judged that
Especially
one.
because his attempts were early in the match.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner in overtime by rear naked choke, Lucas Hightree.
Congratulations to Mr. Hightree out of 10th Plant.